If the Cold War had turned out hot, the privation of hit and fan, many Russians at last had seen the formations of this aircraft delivering a nuclear bomb over the Soviet Union. The Avro Hurricane V2 iconic Delaware bomber that fortunately everyone was never called upon. Now, the design of Britain's great contribution to nuclear propaganda, the design of Roy Chadwick, also designed Britain's other iconic 20th century bomber, the Lancaster, heading up the team that created the Vulcan, which entered the Royal Air Force Service in 1956 and 26 years of frontline British nuclear warheads. Now, over a few missions until 1982, rather the conflict broke out 800 miles from the UK, the wasteland of South Atlantic Falkland War, Argentina, decided to have felony and the British territories of 1983 and Georgia. The islands of 1982 was judging forthcoming defense cuts and a now Margaret Thatcher's government that would military response from British Argentina dictatorship. Mistaken to Thatcher's demand, the dispatch of the Royal Navy built the entire task force of two aircraft carriers to reclaim the islands. Logistical challenges mounted of the invasion, far from home and daunting from the British Air Force of the Argentina's 400 miles from the Falkland Island, moved stable garrisons from the island back to Jet. But the modern Navy, as the task force, the stream down the south, and the rear commander Sandy Woodfall requested the targets to attack the Falkland Islands. Now, considering the targets of Argentina itself, was decided to let RAF go knock Port Santorini Airport near Falkland Island, which there was being used as Air Force. These factories and used task force planned amphibious landing, Royal Marines and parachute regiments. The Sea and Harrow squadrons were mounting on both sides of the British aircraft, but London felt like the RAF Vulcan bombers attack Stanley Airfield would help reserve the task force and valuable sea harriers to the warship and other task force. Now, the jet bomber would be carrying a huge bomb load of 1,000-pound bombs, but British faced a serious problem. Firstly, in Falkland War broke out, of just the RAF have phasing of only 3 squadrons possessed this type of stock, and limited arsenal of refueling systems. These were built and not blocked of filters, even finding 1,000-pound bombs correct type, and the 6 aircraft challenges, even selecting the raids. Now, how does the Falkland Islands and the plan to stay at least ambitious to the Falkland and operate the wide awakened airfields of the Sanitary Island? Another British convoy at the Atlantic, it was 3,000 nautical miles or 6,000 kilometers from the Falkland in order to reach the Stanley bomb, returned to the Falkland, and the second reserve backup aircraft unit. Of a total of 11 refueling Falklands, each together, the RAF turned the V bomber into the Handley. The RAF Victor has been converted to the RAF only of the 23rd Service. By the end of April 1982, the RAF had 14 Victors, and the landings of bombings of missions had been codenamed Bat Black. Now, it was launched on the night of the 30th, April 1st, 1982. 2 Falklands were involved in acting backup, plus 11 Victor tanks of total of 18 refueling that would require the mission of primaries vacuum. Now, a seal of failures after the takeoff that were pressurized, and the Falkland of the 6 of 1 performed a raid. Instead of dropping 1,000 pounds on Port Stanley, they dropped the runway, creating large craters that would kill several and injure backing attacks. 9 Royal Marine Seas Harriers struck an attack of the airfield with bombs, and the Sea Harriers were damaged of the 20mm anti-tank fire. The primary aircraft was bucked into two of the N-60, and which it would flew fly the first mission in May of 1982. But this time, the bombs all missed the runway, but the craters prevented the Argentina engineers from extending the runway for the fast jet that would have been a serious problem to the task force. Only a lighter aircraft of the Hicksy 130s could do. To strong winds and the buckout had scrubbed the 14th of May. The Black Buck of 4 had scrubbed her with the 2 Falcons, and now, 5 hours later into the mission, due to weather conditions, the Americans had supplied the raid with anti-shack guns, and destroying Argentina's Air Force and wrestling houses in the 14 long radar deployer. Stanley Airfield have gave the Argentina a good coverage of run of their attacks and their strikes that would work in the Argentina's favor. Now, the targets of the powerful radar at sea, the Harriers raided on the Falklands, appeared in Argentina's help to switch up the radars of MZ, and had launched 2 strike missiles, impact to 10 and 15 yards, 9 to 14 meters from the radar, but did not knock out. The second completely missed the primary aircraft, the Vulcan, and was tasked of repeating the mission that has been flown, designated to Black Buck of 6, piloted by Leader Hell M.C. Douglas, was armed by 4 Frank missiles instead of 2 flying reserves with the Vulcan M5 and the Magdas mission that occurred on the 3rd of June 1982. Magdas have lighted the precious time, and Argentina's would switch off the radar, but with no luck. Now 2 strikes were fired at the radar system, destroying the guard firing tower and 600 anti-tank guns, killing 4 operative, but inaction was going up too hot with the MX-59 several guns of refueling, and the proposition of the XM5. She was thousands away from miles in the flying base of Atlantic Ocean when the drama began. McDouglas faced 2 choices: ditch the Falkland in the ocean, or review its exhausted and nearest latter. The close of landfields of Brazil was 700 miles west of it. He had a choice, and the Falcon would barely make it to the Brazil airport. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or you die.